Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to the Huddle, your weekly playbook where every time Paul is gone, I say the same thing, but we're here to support you guys in the flooring industry, and we're really looking for your guys' input today because we wanna see what you guys would rather do, right? I'm gonna bring this up right now before we get too far into it. If you like our content, make sure you like, subscribe, let us know what you did like, what you didn't, so that way we can adjust from there. We just need we always need your guys' input to know what we're going to talk about. But today it's going to be would you rather, right? I think everyone has played this game at least once when they were kids, but I think you need to turn your gain down a little bit again. As you guys know, we always have issues with technology only when I'm here, cuz so apparently it's always my fault.
Always.
So we hope you guys are doing well and keeping busy. I know with us right now, in the field, it's kind of iffy. There's projects out there, but then in the office, it's like super busy. Like yesterday, I was getting emails that I couldn't even answer because trying to get some of these bids out to some of these companies, and it's so hard to keep up for us right now. So let us know how you guys are doing in the field, in the office. So this first question here, let's just get right into it. Would you rather install over concrete that's not level or
Moisture that won't
moisture
quit.
that won't quit? This is so Ashlyn was nice enough to put this stuff in the chat. Thank you, Ashlyn. I think we're gonna have to revise some of it though. So I think on concrete that's not level or something that's high in moisture. And 100% I think that's an easy one. She
Yeah,
said that
yeah.
it was Chat GPT, not Ashlyn. I think she always says when she's doing stuff for us, she's like, I have no idea what you guys are even talking about, but if you did, you know what we're talking about. She just
You
lies.
know, you
But
know.
anyways, I think I'd definitely rather install over some concrete that is not level because anytime we're talking, we don't talk about level. It's always level versus flat, right? And moisture is that one of those things that if there's an issue, it never quits unless you do something about it.
Yeah, you could probably get away with something that concrete that's not level or not flat before you get away with concrete that's got moisture. Hmm. Unless you want to go on an adventure, you can go right ahead, but I wouldn't advise it.
So there was Jason has been a guest on the show a few times, and he had a question on one of his Facebook pages the other day that was like it was brand new concrete. It's only been poured for like 27 days. The GC says, "Hey, I need you to start installing right now. What do you do?"
Depends. There's a couple different things. I know what we've done in the past. What um, deep seal, Van Huren deep seal. But then again, we also try to coordinate getting in there and using it right away, or having the concrete guys put it on, or the GC.
Right, because that's something that can go on when the right after the concrete is poured.
Yeah.
But then you also have in the spec that if there's anything topical
Anything.
on there, you have to get rid of it. So it's like, what do you do? But a lot of the guys were going in there and they were giving their 2 cents. And I think one of the right answers is probably start moisture testing because you don't know what you don't know. My answer was let's just use some Taylor Resolute and walk away.
Dude, we've used it, and that stuff works. I mean, got to be patient. Can't go that far. Can't go that fast. Depending on how cut up it is, there's there's a method to that madness. But I will say that it did save the individual, the project that we did. It did save them a lot of money on mitigation.
You're
Um,
cutting in and out right now, I think. So you might have to turn your gain back up, and I'm just gonna have to try and talk a little,
a little lower.
a little lower.
Hold on, I'm probably cutting out because I still got 27 tabs open.
Oh no, when you put your face right in the microphone, we can hear you good.
I'm scratching it with my chin.
All right, this next one. Would you rather work 10-hour days for 4 days or 8-hour days for 6 days? And I think this is,
That's an easy one.
well, not in the flooring world because we're used to working 10-hour days, 6 days a week. So
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, you get a floor guy on there all the time. Where's my weekend warriors at, right?
I see him post more on the weekends than I do during the weekdays. Like he's got to be like the first flooring vampire that just he don't sleep.
So you're right. That one is an easy one, right? Because we already work 10-hour days, so why not just make it a four day week and call it good? And typically we do that when it's a night project because we're trying to put as many hours in as we can, get it done, and get out of there. So that way we typically tell the guys we know we're working, or we tell who we're working for, we're working 4 days, Monday through Thursday. The guys are getting the weekend off because a majority of us have kids, so you still need that fluff room in there in order to get acclimated back to weekends with the kids, waking up in the morning, sports.
Oh, well, not only that, it's your body when you're on first and then you go to third and then you go to second and back to first and try to do that. Your body does not like that, man. Is I got sick of getting sick when it around those times when we were doing that. It was very hard, and sometimes it was right off of third, right into first the next day. Whew, rough days.
Yeah, it's horrible. And plus, our nephew comes in here sometimes that works third shift, and it's like, dude, when do you even ever sleep?
They're a different breed. They love it. I don't even know if they love it versus they're just used to it.
I don't know. I don't think I would ever get used to working third shift, regardless of how long I did it.
Are you going down the list right here?
Yeah, I'm just going right down the list that good old AI provided for us.
I just don't know if he switched my list up. So
I'm just going off the original list. So
what do you got next? Would you rather get paid weekly but lower rates or
no,
higher rates?
apparently we're going off of different lists now. So go ahead, you ask that question.
Yeah, it says would you rather get paid weekly but lower rates or higher rates with 60-day pay terms? Man, that's if you put yourself in a good situation, the 60 days with the higher rates can be more beneficial for sure. But it's are you working for a beer or are you working for a career, right? Like which one are you doing? That's going to dictate whether or not you're ready for this 60-day time frame. Um, and even if you are ready, sometimes you're just not. You're just not used to waiting that long.
Yeah, that's a tough one right there. I think a lot of people are looking for more stability, right? I guess it depends on if you work for yourself or if you work for someone. Because if you're working for yourself, sometimes it's easier to swallow that pill than it is if you're working for someone else, right? because I mean, I think we've all I know you and I have been there when you're working for someone, but you're working on a 1099. So technically you're working for yourself, but they're supposed to be paying you weekly. And then they're like, oh,
Oh,
I didn't get a check. And then the next week, oh, I still didn't get paid. And it's like, dude, it doesn't matter if you got paid. I need to get paid. But now we're on that other side where it's like, we're chasing that money, right? Where it's like, hey, I need to get paid. I got to pay my guys. And that's
yeah,
the thing where I talk about Simon Sinek a lot, and he has a book, Leaders Eat Last, and that's really the way it is because it doesn't matter what's going on if it comes down to it and I got enough money in the account to pay the guys or me take a little bit, it's always going to be
yeah,
paying the
always,
guys.
always, always, 100%. I don't ever want anyone to feel like they can't put food on their table because we couldn't pay for something they've already done.
And
Yeah,
I
and
mean, granted, there has been a few times where you get those text messages or the calls, and it's like, "Hey, man, my check hasn't showed up yet," and it's like, man, I know I did my part. Let me, and then I have to dig into what's going on. And when you talk to the payroll company, they're like, "Oh yeah, they'll get it by the end of the day." And that's the thing. It's they're looking for it right when they wake up. It's like, "Hey, this is usually in here by the time I open my eyes and it's not in there." So I understand the frustration.
yeah, I remember having multiple conversations where don't mess with my money. You can't mess with my money, bro. Like you can't do that, man. You just like I don't care if you spit in my sandwich and I eat it on lunch, but don't mess with my money because then I can't have a spit sandwich tomorrow. You know what I mean?
Right? This is a good one right here. Would you rather have a good steak or a good taco? And that's a trick question because I would rather have a good steak taco.
Bam, solved. That's what that. No question on that one, Mister Rowland.
You can't ask a Mexican that because we would give you this that answer every single day because guess what? If I'm at a state, I know you guys have seen these videos on TikTok
Yes,
lately where they go to like hibachi and this dude pulls like a pack of tortillas out of his pocket and they start warming them up right there on the grill. And
this is
that's what
real.
we
That's for real.
I
That's for real.
remember being younger and we'd be in McDonald's and my dad reach into his pocket and pull out a whole baggie full of jalapenos.
Jalapenos. That is for real. Hey, that's like macaroni, right? Like I don't eat pasta anymore, but when I did, I'd have me some macaroni tacos. I didn't care. It's time to go with a taco.
So that last one was a little weird because it's kind of two-sided, but I mean, depends on where you're coming from. So what we got now? I'm just gonna jump around. Would you rather always run out of adhesive halfway through or always misplace your trowel?
Bruh. I think I'd just rather run that adhesive halfway through because if I'm I'd rather just say, hey, dude, I ran out of adhesive. Daniel ordered the material, bro. There's nothing I can do.
It's
I'll be back.
just always blame it on someone else but
Yeah,
when
I'll
it's
be
your
back.
trowel, that's your fault, right?
Yeah, I'll be back. I'll be back tomorrow with more adhesive with this brand new trowel that I cleaned off. Spread that glue so good.
I remember there was one time I was at a project by myself and I had to change the notches on a trowel and I went in my box and I didn't have anything to get the notch out because we use inject a notch. And I'm like, I'm looking all over and there's nothing on it. It's like
He's biting
there's
it.
nothing there. And I'm trying to get this thing off of there. And then I went like this, uh, and a chunk of my tooth came off. And that was the last time I ever did that.
That's how you know we're from different times because the time I chipped my tooth like that is when I was opening up a beer for dad. Got dinero here. Hand me a beer in the back seat. Open that for me.
And again, I don't know, man. I think I think you're right. I think I would just rather run out of glue because then it's like, all right, I'm just gonna do this, take off, I'll be back tomorrow.
Yep. That
If you misplace your trowel, you're gonna be looking for that trowel for like an hour before you're like, oh,
if you misplace your trowel, I'm just going to go ahead and judge it and say that you have other issues besides not having a trowel. Like maybe you made it up. Maybe you thought you had a trowel, but it was just imaginary the whole time.
oh, I wonder if I can just. I'm looking at different ways to see if I can make it look better when we put it on here. Hey, there, that's a little better. Would you rather teach a rookie or work alone with no help?
That's that's going to be a age question, right? There's going to be certain people that answer that one way and a certain age that answers that another way. And maybe that's just me, unless you're just, unless nobody likes you and you have to work alone, then you're going to answer it like it was your idea.
Well, I think we know people that, I mean, I think you were one of those guys where you were an a-hole and no one wanted to work with you. But then
Well,
you were still always the best one to work with because you would show people the right way to do things. So it's like,
I would explain everything, probably a little too much, but but yes, you're right. I was. I don't really know anymore what I am, but yes, I was not the nicest. I was not the nicest of people to work with after I showed you how to do something more than once. Yeah, we'll just leave it at that.
yeah, and I think I would it's tough, man, because it depends on what you're doing. Because if I'm doing a bunch of carpet tile, yeah, let me get a bunch of people that don't know what they're doing so just so they can haul stuff. But if you're working in and doing some sheet vinyl, flash cove, heat welding, it's like if you don't have someone there that knows what they're doing,
Yeah.
just you
Ah,
go over there, I'll be over here.
poor baby sister.
I know, right? I mean,
Man, man. But you know what? We were all there at one point. There was always someone with us at almost every step of the way that didn't know what they were doing.
so Mr. Paul said that he would teach a rookie as long as they show up. Paul, nice to see you on here, man. We're missing you today. Your intro was really lacking.
Yeah, it was. You did horrible on that intro today, Paul. Just so you know.
Would you rather be the boss or the worker with no worries? And that was actually going to be one of the last ones I put up. But since Rollin brought it up, let's talk
Um,
about it.
realistically, I'd rather be the worker with no worries.
Don't you miss it sometimes?
Oh my goodness, I don't remember it. That's what I'm saying. Like, I just,
Well,
and
so it's like that thing that I showed you and I don't know the other day, right? It was an entrepreneur is someone that doesn't want to work a 9 to 5, so they work 24/7 instead.
yeah, yeah. But you know what? It's all good when it's your idea on your own terms, right? That's the difference. It's
Mr. Garden, when are you going to
retired.
retire?
That guy ain't retired. He's just redirected.
Look, Jimmy says he misses it today. I mean, there's always those times where it's like, man, I just wish I could go back and it would be easier. But then I think that's the entrepreneurial roller coaster, right? It's
Oh
always
yeah, good book.
so.
Good book. I will say, the worker with no worries either gets forced to learn to do something that they don't want to learn, or they're gun ho and they're like, I want to learn this. Either way it goes, at some point you're like, I wish I didn't learn that.
Well, it's and I talked to someone, oh, man, who was it? I don't even remember. You kn It was during spring break, and, we were in Vegas, and there was someone that was right next to us, and she had her computer out, and she's, like, all stressing out,
Oh,
and
and
it
she was there with you guys, just she can't do nothing.
well, she was like, she said something, and I was like, "You know, all being a leader is just a glorified babysitter," and she just started laughing, and she was actually the CFO of the largest cattle producer in Nebraska.
Dude, don't they have a TV show about that?
I don't know, but she was like, "Man, people just can't do it. Like, they can't figure things out when I'm not there," and I said, "What are you gonna do? You can't do nothing. You're already here."
Figure it out. Sometimes people got to figure it out for themselves.
Mentally. uh, wrong R word, Nate. I think I
Okay,
am gonna go back to putting the little ticker on because then the comments will um take the place of what's going up there.
gotcha. All right, so where we at right here?
So I'm gonna do this one next. I'm just gonna read it as I'm putting it in there. Would you rather work a night shift work a night shift in a clean hospital or a day shift in a dirty warehouse? And I think everyone has, if you're in commercial, you've probably done both.
Um, I don't mind either one, to be honest with you. Dirty warehouse, like what kind of dirty we talking about? Like we talking like infestation dirty, or we just talking dusty dirty? Um,
My mind automatically went to dusty dirty, like when we were doing those, huge warehouses, or like the people that work in with aluminum, and you have like
oh yeah,
shavings everywhere, and it's like
dude.
anytime you sweep up, it never gets clean.
Yeah, if you say it like that, I think I prefer the clean hospital, but I think we have the same percentages of getting sick either way.
And that's the thing. It's what is considered a clean hospital because it could be they clean it all the time, but then it doesn't matter if you're going in the bathroom. That bathroom is going to be gross because you're ripping it out and then you're seeing everything that has leaked down there over the course of what, 15, 20 years, however long that was down.
Absolutely disgusting. I will say though, women are just as gross in the bathrooms as men. I will put that out there.
Jimmy says night shift, no one's around. And yes and no. I was bid in a hospital project a while ago that was they wanted us to do the hallways in a hallway that never closed.
We have done that actually. Um, Not always the easiest, and that's when you have to stick to your guns and tell people to go around, and they get so mad at you.
I threw options out. They went with the low bid instead. So we don't have to worry about it. It's fine. On to the next one. Nate said he'd rather be working than waiting. Dirty hands, clean money.
There you go. Hey, this
Some
one,
some some people live for to go to work and then just wait around anyways. So you about to read Rollins' comment?
nope, where's he at?
Oh, I thought you were saying you said this one. Because Rollin has another question. Would you rather be out in the field working or be stuck in the office doing paperwork?
That's an easy, easy, easy one, brother. I'd rather be out in the field. That's super like
But it's crazy, right? Because you go out in the field and after not being out there for so long, your body
hurts.
hurts.
Well, my
Your
body
body
hurts,
always hurts.
and my body hurts every day for other reasons. But yeah, go out there and definitely can't do what I used to do. but I do love being out there on the job site and then like showing the guys what's going on. Like when me and my son went and did base on the weekend, I had to clean up a lot of things that got missed, but I was able to hang out with my son for a little bit, a few hours on a Sunday. I was able to get away from the office, away from. It was nice to not have to think about what it takes to be in the office.
Yeah, and it's just that mentally exhausting thing. And because when you're here, or when you're anyone that can take their computer with them and work anywhere, it's hard to get away from it, especially when you have these deadlines like um all these bids coming up, and it's like, man, this one I was working on for, a week straight, and it's like you sometimes it's hard to see the payoff because you will work a week on a bid and then be 3% high and lose it on that 3%, and it's like
And then you
but when
dissect.
you're in the field, you see your progress as you go. Like it's And you don't have to think about it, especially us. We've been doing it for over 20 years, so we just go out there and do it. Especially when you can pop some headphones in, which is not necessarily you don't see headphones and radios on job sites like you used to. It's just too much of a safety hazard, but for sure, personally for us, it's way easier in the field because it's something that you just get out there and do.
You don't have
In
to.
here,
Yeah,
every project, well, I guess out there too, right? Every project is different. You run into stuff, but you can get creative. In here, you can't really get creative on bidding a project or doing paperwork.
yeah. You you have to stay on task, get it done the way the programs allow you to get it done. Um, there is no freelancing it. If you miss something, you miss it.
See, even Jimmy says he'd rather be in the field working, but you have to keep work coming in. And
Yeah,
that's true too.
yeah.
And that's where we always, go back to us joining our local chamber and then them saying, you got to start working on your business instead of in your business. And it's even when the time comes for one of us to go in the field, it's hard to leave the guys hanging when you know that you're not in here preparing for when the slow time is going to come when there ain't that work there. Paul's got a good one here. He said, would you rather epoxy grout replacement in a KFC or clean toilets? And I would rather clean toilets.
Yeah, I would say I'd rather clean the toilets because essentially you're cleaning a bathroom anyway. If you're cleaning the floors to receive epoxy. Ugh. I was
I
just trying to
just,
think about like all the nasty jobs we've been on, dude, where you like moving things around, and all of a sudden you're like, hey, what's it? And then it's a dead mouse, and you got the bones in your hand. You're like, oh goodness. Oh well, I already touched it. Let's go to lunch.
bro, go wash your hands. Everyone's done that too. Like, bro, did you wash your hands before you came out here? Oops.
Yeah,
The floor is where you earn, but the desk is where you keep some of it. And that's true too. And Jimmy just likes that saying, working on your business, not in your business. And that's what a lot of people need to realize is that doing the work on the computer isn't like, especially when you just start, it becomes tedious. You don't want to do it because you don't know what you're doing. Unlike the in the field where it's like pop in some headphones and just go to town. Don't even think about it, just do it.
just
But
get
it
lost.
if it's not something that you do, then you're just falling behind, man. Install Paul says that installing is more gratifying, but winning a bid that you really want is also hard to beat. And that one is true too. And I don't like that. That is a really good feeling, but also a horrible feeling is when you really wanted it and then someone else gets it and you're just like, and that's where you get into these, slumps where it's like, just go work for somebody, man. Like,
Yeah. Why am I even trying? Ah, man, a lot of conversations been coming up between other generals and other installers about that, and it's a game. It's definitely a game, back and forth, um, and it sucks, right? Like you got the working on your business part is just as much of a thing here for the office portion than it is the installer portion. Because when you're installing, working on your business is getting stuff done right, making it look good, getting done on time. You're working on your reputation, so you're working on your business. You come in the office now, you're trying to increase that, trying to keep the workflow going. Now you got to find other ways to work on it while you're in here working on it.
right. So we got a question here. What's the best way to find people looking for flooring without becoming a sub for a store? And that is kind of it depends if you're residential or if you're commercial, and also what type of flooring you're doing. So I guess let us know that unless we just expand on everything. Like if you're residential, I mean, I don't really know because a lot of the residential that we do just comes to us with everyone being sick of everyone else, like having to deal with everyone else. But having a business phone line helps a little bit. It's not just a cell phone number that people are giving out. You actually have we're listed as preferred flooring, so
Yeah.
it's not
And
just,
and another thing too is word of mouth, right? Like we have since day one we've had a great support system through our family and our friends. So anytime someone hears of anything, and I'm getting ready to do a remodel and paint my walls, not even doing any floors, and it's that, oh, you know what? Hey, my brother does floors, my cousin does floors, my son does floors, and that's all it is. And I do that for people too. It's like we're going to be thinking about doing our floors, but first we got to get our ceiling done or get new windows. And you know what? I know a guy.
Nate has a recommendation too. So in your travels, you're inspecting every floor anyway. So note on a business card can get you in. Also, custodians can get you in too. So he's talking more.
Yeah,
So it's, dare we say, networking,
networking.
because
Yeah,
that's a big part of even on the commercial side. It's networking, and then you can um also talk about advertising, right? So what are you doing to advertise? We have tried multiple things. We've tried, in the beginning talking to some of the news sites and getting on there, and that didn't lead to anything. But it's also about how long are you willing to advertise to see a return on investment. So we get into um, sponsoring Little League and a bunch of these little kids sports teams, and then people see your logo, and then they'll see our vans, and then anywhere, basically everywhere we go, we're wearing some merch of some sort, or we're with someone that has the merch on, and they're like, they look at the banner, and then they look at us, and they're like, you guys with them? And it's like, yeah.
yeah,
And it's just getting into a
yeah.
conversation. And some of these little league teams that we've sponsored, it took 4 or 5 years in order for us to of sponsoring in order for us to get a pretty solid project from it. But that project was pretty sizable, and it's like it's the long game.
It is. And what's funny is we just had a conversation today about that. Like, are you still doing anything with adult teams? And I said, unfortunately, we're not. Right. And the ROI on that is slim to none, if any. But when you get involved with the youth, people tend to return the favor a lot more when you're helping the kids grow and experience life versus helping adults with a hobby.
And I've seen it, that so not only sponsoring the teams, but just going there and being with the kids. So we've been going to career fairs. We've been going I had the privilege of going and doing some mock interviews with some of the fourth graders over at one of the schools, and it's just like teachers and stuff take note of that, and then they're like, "Hey, I have this project over here, at my house. Can you come take a look at it?" So it's just being aware that everywhere you go, you're basically a salesman, whether you think you are or not. And I think it took us a
Yep.
long time to realize that too. So Jimmy says, "Oh, I don't know who those Gonzalez bros are.
Yeah, we're Gonzalez, not Gonzalez.
Is the BBB a good thing? They are
Mm,
bugging me the last year to get in. And
mm,
honestly,
you know what?
I
They used to be, right?
because that would be the place that everyone goes for reviews. Now where do people go for reviews? Social media.
Yeah, yeah.
Google My Business.
So we bought into the BBB for a little while, but the and this is different for everybody, right? Like it can be different in your area. I don't know, but this is our experience. Is it was a membership, so that way we could use their logo because it was one of the most recognizable logos around, and they can just pretty much say whatever they want about you when you do something wrong, but they don't ever advocate for you when you do something good unless someone is searching through the BBB for you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you, it's easier to leave a positive review on social media than it would be to contact the BBB and say, these guys are great.
Yeah. But they really, really wanted to let you know when somebody was bad.
So every commercial job, Nate puts a card dispenser and offer an employee discount to anyone who works there. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
definitely get permission first, but that's actually a great idea. It's kind of one of those guerrilla marketing tactics, right? It's what am I going to do that is relatively inexpensive to do? You're just the cost of the cards that you have anyways, but you're also, hey, if anyone needs any flooring, I'll give you guys a discount. Then you just mark it up like Home Depot does and then discount it from there, right? Right? That's what you do, Nate?
Change the sticker price and slash in prices.
So he said he just started 2 to 3 years ago doing painting and flooring. He prefers flooring because that's what he's done longer. Hardwood, glue down and staple, LVP, glue down vinyl. He wants to get giant commercial jobs, but has no idea how to even get in the door with something like that. The painting division was because of his brother mainly did that. So the end goal would be multiple crews and a paint division and a floor division. But right now it's just him and his brother. So
Well, at least you can
if you're
schedule
looking
with one
at,
another good.
well, if you're looking at commercial projects like that, I would definitely start building up your crew on each side before you went and did that. And there's no shame in working for someone else instead of trying to bid your own jobs, especially when you're just trying to start because you're looking at, I mean, so a 1 week project for commercial flooring can be $100,000, right? And half of that is gone in material, and you have to come out of pocket that 50 grand sometimes, and wait 30,
Yep.
60, 90 days in order to get paid for that. So it's what are you going to do in order to accumulate and build up to that point to where you can safely go out and say, all right, I can do $100,000 project, and then it's done like that. Like,
Yep. Well, then you also have to make sure that you have the right people in place because just starting out, $100,000 project can put you in a very bad spot if it's not done to I don't want to say the spec, right? But if you don't satisfy the customer at the end of the day, and they find a couple things to gripe about, put you in a bad spot as well.
right. So, I mean, right now, start building how you're going to run your crews, document everything so that way
Document.
you have it with you. But don't just I like the goal. It's just start breaking that down into smaller and smaller pieces. And right now, I think what you need to start doing is looking at building your crews so that way you can have one crew doing flooring, one crew doing painting, and then try and sell your services together. Because it
Mhm.
almost sounds like if you're doing a bunch of hardwood glue down and staple and some vinyl and stuff, it's more residential. So I
Correct.
would go talk to some of the stores and start working with them to
Designers,
get a taste of that commercial side.
and you get to get with some designers. Make sure that, I mean, if you're running those two separate crews, like, I've never done it, right? But I'm thinking you got to get with people that are going to offer both on the same projects, because otherwise you can have your painter sitting at home while the flooring guys are working, or vice versa. Did you see Paul's question up there?
Yeah, this one right here. Would you rather be a flooring inspector for a North Korean LVT manufacturer or an IRS agent? Honestly, like job security, especially right now, my money's on the LVT manufacturer because there's no shortage of inspections right now.
Bam! Look at that.
Plus, I know some IRS agents. They they don't say that they love their job. So I don't know. That's
Speaking of inspectors, hey, thank you for all the referrals, by the way. You know who you are. We appreciate it.
so he also said that if he were to land that he would bring in his old boss that taught me everything to work with him and split the profit. I would also start looking at partnership agreements and stuff like that before you even bring
Yeah.
anyone in. Experience that comes from experience.
Yeah, we've it's a little bit different when you're two brothers and you're starting out and you have nothing, right? You're starting with a couple of what, 1,200 bucks, whatever, 1,500 bucks in your pocket, and that's it. Because you're building together. But when you're trying to build something that could, with someone else, that you just, like, I trust Daniel. I trust Daniel to with my life, and I'd like to think it's the same to an extent. But it's having all the right pieces and the people in place, because I have had other experiences trying to start a flooring business with other people.
Paul says both are hated. I think he was talking about both of us.
Yeah, he was. He definitely was. I feel that. Still love you, bro. Still love you, bro.
Yeah, because Nate says nothing wrecks a friendship faster than money. 100%. And that's why
Yeah,
it's good to document everything, have everything set in stone, signed, get a lawyer involved because we're not lawyers, so I can't give you 100% the advice that you need, but if you document stuff, at least you're already halfway there. Get an idea of what you want to do, then present it. And Rollins says, "Why does everyone think the owner makes all the money?"
oh my goodness, brother.
I tell people that all the time. They're like, "Oh man, you own a business, you must be making so much money." And it's like, even the employees, some of our employees make more than we do, and that's the way it should be, right? They're the ones that are out there doing it. And granted, a lot of what we could be making is always goes into constant reinvestment, and that's how we got to where we're at now. It was never us pocketing any money. It was always us looking at that next step, looking at that next step. And sometimes that next step was there before we were ready for it. And it's like if we didn't have that in our pocket at that time, we wouldn't have been able to take that next step.
Yeah, we did. We were very fortunate for me to fail a couple times before we started preferred flooring as well, right? Like, and we know what we didn't want to do. I wouldn't say it was really a failure because I did it. It was failed. Failed attempts. It's all right.
And it was a learning curve.
Yeah, yeah,
You don't fail, you learn, right?
yep.
I mean,
Well,
it's all in perspective, the way you look at things. So, oh, I threw it away. But I've been posting on these I've been eating some overnight oats and on the bottom of every top that you rip off has like something motivational. It's like, yeah, we need more of that in our life. It's all in mindset. How are you going to look at the day?
You could put motivational words in your custom baseball gloves too.
Well, I
Like,
think it was Nate. Like after I posted that, he was like, they. I thought this was the bottom of a glue bucket, and it's like they need to start doing that.
oh, what's that thing that old school used to say? The best glue is at the bottom of the bucket. You got to scrape it out.
All right, this question right here. Oh, hold on, we got one more. Preferred flooring is installers or sells flooring product. We are both. So we have our own employees here, and we also sell the product, and that is commercial and residential. Our split is roughly 90% commercial,
Yeah,
10% residential, and that'll fluctuate year to year. The residential side has been growing. It's not
yeah.
something that
So
we
has the
planned for.
commercial
It
side
just
too. Yeah, so it's kind of hard to differentiate that, right? Like you say 90-10, but it's harder to do it now when we're more, the percentage of being self sustained is a lot higher.
so here's a nice one right here. Oh, that's not the one. We already did that one. Would you rather train your competition or let talent go undeveloped? And I think
Um, that's, go ahead, because,
we've been asked this question a lot because we do work with, we work with NAFCT, we work with CFI, FCICA, and that's a question that comes up a lot is would we even, especially locally, train the talent here? And the answer is 100% yes. Why?
mm-hmm,
Because that puts you on a level playing field. And then they would finally understand, oh, that's why you guys charge that much for this. I was skipping 23 out of the 25 steps. No wonder why I was getting stuff done so
yeah, no
much
wonder
faster
why
than I
people
should have
stop
been.
calling me back. And plus, you want everyone to succeed, right? Like, if this is your career and that's what you're going for, you don't want to increase your chances of failure. I got a phone call today about a company that was hired to do an install who hired someone else. The job's failing, and it failed pretty
And
quickly.
and I think that's where you have to kind of take competition and look at just that word. Like, are they really your competition? Or can this relationship be looked at differently to where they're not your competition? They're actually just one of your allies. And
Yeah,
I've been on job walks where, I'll be straight up with some of these guys. I'm not big like you are. I can't bid what you guys can bid on. And he was like, I can respect that. And he was like, and to be honest with you, I have this project coming up. It's in a hospital and I'm sick of the failures. So I want to sit down with you guys and see how we can partner up. And it's like, yeah, that's how it's got to be. Like, we're are we competing against each other for this one job? Yes, but are we technically competitors when we can help each other out and work together? There's more to it than just being competition, and that's why I would train any competition. And um, they just switched over to Measure Square, and he was like, I might have some questions. Can I call you? And it's like 100% call me.
yeah.
Like I will sell that product any day.
When it works, it works. And going back to that competition, I don't. Maybe back in the day, you used to think about that, right? Like, I think about that movie Anchorman when the all the different news stations come together and they have that little war, right? Like that's probably my mentality back in the day. Um, but it's far from that now because knowing the flooring industry, you know that a lot of people are just they know just enough to get by, but don't know enough to be safe. Does that make sense? And it's like you put yourself in a position to lose. And the if you're using like the larger stores that sell, they do have a separation, right? They have people who are sales, like lifetime salespeople, installers that are transitioning, like doing um, project management and stuff like that, and then the installers. Salespeople want to sell. They don't think about the installer. They don't think about the middleman. They don't think about. They just sell, sell, sell. Look good to the company. Sell, sell, sell. Um, and the numbers game doesn't really work out like that for people who are coming from the installation background, trying to do the best they can um, and do the best product. I mean, it's hard to not look at it like an installer when you're an installer.
Right. Nate Hall just says cooperation beats competition every day. So we do not have a location in Florida, and the only thing we sell online is just a couple tools right now. And Rollin asks a good would you rather right here. Would you rather be able to support your business working off your cash flow or support your business through a line of credit from the bank?
Hmm,
I guess it depends on how big your projects are and how many you got going at the same time. Because
that
without a bank, we wouldn't be where we're at today. I'll be straight up honest with you.
yeah.
Because you're looking at on one of our projects, it's coming out of pocket $300,000 before you get that first check. If you can do that with cash flow, more power to you.
Well,
And I think the thing is sometimes you have to look at it from a different perspective too, right? Because it's like, how can I utilize a bank in order to make as much cash as I can to become my own bank?
and I think that's where it is unless you have an investor, unless you have somebody that's backing you and financially backing you on a lot of that, which is very few and far in between. You're going to have to utilize some kind of financial establishment to get to a point where you do have the cash flow to sustain yourself. And then the people who can do that, I imagine that you have to have some kind of outside investment with your funds in order to keep that going because flooring gets expensive, especially over the past 4 years, the amount that everything's gone up.
Right. And then you just have to look at how the the commercial side is different from the residential side too, because on the residential side, it's easier to be like, all right, if you want me to do this, it's 50% down. And then it's going to be the other 50% as soon as I get done. Or, if it's a big project, you hit milestones and you do that in commercial too, right? But it's that pay app gets accepted once a month. So how much can you get done in that month? Or, sometimes we have contracts that are signed 12 months ago. Well, and then the schedule keeps on moving. Uh-oh. Am I froze or are you froze? Oh, there you go.
Nope,
And
nope. I think we're good. I think we're back now.
all right. And that schedule just keeps on moving. So it's like you'll have that, all right, I was supposed to do this 6 months ago and now it's 12 months and the only thing I was able to bill for was the material, but I still have it on my books that I need to bill for more. So I don't know. With commercial is a different animal, and I think it without the credit from the bank, we wouldn't have been able to get the projects that we have done so far.
I have a question right here. And I don't know how to share. Oh, did you just put one up? Oh no,
No,
there's another
that's
one. It's the would you rather take on high end custom work with less stress or cookie cutter work with boredom?
I see it right here. I'll put it in there.
That's I think there's stress in both of them, to be honest with you, because that cookie cutter work is you're. Let's start with the cookie cutter work because that would be the easiest thing. You're setting or you're creating a schedule. Cookie cutter work, you get better and faster at it as each day passes. And once you do that, you are setting a new standard with the schedule with whomever you're working with or for. You can't go in and install 150 yards, 150 yards, 175 yards, and then 200 yards, and then come back and install 150 yards again. The cookie cutter work is a double-edged sword. You're
I
setting
I think you need that mixture. Um, if I had to choose, I would probably choose the high end work
a.
because it makes you think more, and the outcome it's better pictures, and you brag about it more, right?
Well,
Hey,
it's more
look what I did.
gratifying.
But that's
Yep.
the thing, it's the cookie cutter work. You see a lot of those pictures too, and it's like it's still good work. It's just because it's not custom or something, but I don't know. We come from the background of resilient and flash cove, so it's hard to beat looking at it when it's all welded up and everything and being like, yeah, that's what it's supposed to look like.
Technically, technically let's do that. We come from the nobody else does it well. We
Paul says
can't do it.
high end cookie cutter work. So I think he's talking about like the that carpet that's like $400 a yard, 8,000 yards. Let's go. 8,000 yards of carpet tile that costs $400 a yard. Jimmy says high end all day.
That's that niche right there. That's you're creating a following. You're creating the what's it called? Your reputation. You start
So
creating it.
Rollins got to go. He said he didn't. His wife is calling. He didn't make 50 years of marriage by not listening to the wife, but I think he left off a zero. 500 years of marriage because if you guys didn't know, Rollin actually invented flooring.
Yeah, I think he installed the flooring inside Frankenstein's warehouse.
Now he says he loved cookies. He eats them while doing high end work. So I mean, you you definitely need a mixture because after you're on those, especially those Flash Cove projects for a while, or something super tedious like a half inch carpet pattern that you had
Uh,
to work and work and work. It's nice to be like, oh, we get a 1,000 yards of just carpet tile. Let's It goes down like just throwing cards, right? That's what it feels like, anyways.
dude, we're already at after 5 o'clock.
We
Oh,
are already at our time, but I want to end with this one because would you rather repair someone else's bad work or demo your own perfect install?
that's you know what? I'd rather demo my own perfect install because that means that is a change order. That means that they changed their mind on something that they didn't know existed or they wanted a different color. I get to do it all over again. Go me.
I don't know, because the crazy thing is that any of my work that I've also had demo, you go back on it, and at the time you're like, man, this is good. And then you go back, and it's always that constant learning thing, right? Where it's like,
Oh, yeah.
I could have done this, I could have done this, I should have done this.
Y- You're absolutely right. Because the reason that we started looking at things differently and we got better a little bit quicker is because we were fixing somebody else's work. We learned what not to do. We learned a little bit backwards, I would say. We learned what not to do through somebody else's mistakes and sometimes ours.
A lot of times ours, but that's how you learn. So I think I would also rather demo my own perfect install because of that reason. Because you look at it and be like, this is how I did it then, this is how I do it now, and then you can only imagine the next time you go to redo that, how much you can learn. And it's just the technology and stuff too, right? It's like, man, they didn't have this when I was out. Even tools, going back and doing some, commercial stairs without the treadmill now. It's like, it's crazy.
That yeah. Mhm.
But I think we are at our time for today, guys. The conversation kind of went on a tangent, but that's what we're here for, is those questions. So definitely,
Good, good.
Parrots Enterprise, we appreciate the questions, keep them coming. And I hope you learned something here today, and you're taking whatever information that you can from us. If you have more questions, definitely reach out. That's that's what we strive on, man, is the listener participation, right? We wouldn't be where we're at today without you guys, and we
We
just hope
appreciate it.
that we're giving you guys some valuable information, because we definitely we love interaction. So if you guys have anything that you want to cover, email us at forwardprogress@thehuddle.team. And that is right, it's thehuddle.team. We're a team, we're all in this together. So let
And
us know what you want to hear. Let us know what you don't want to hear.
if you like it, give us a thumbs up. If you don't like it, give us a thumbs down. And if you
It's
really
not
don't
doing it.
like it, why don't you share it with all of your friends and ask them and tell them, like, can you tell me I don't like this? I do want to say something real quick. I'll leave you guys with this. Would you rather? Would you rather not try to be a better installer, or would you rather put forth a little bit of effort now to reap a better benefit later? Think
Let
about
us
that.
know in the comments. Keep the conversation going always. But thanks, guys. We wouldn't be here without you, and we definitely appreciate the support. We'll see you guys next week.
Thank you, everyone.